bit done. As you can see, the place is an absolute mess at the moment. That's all the furring channel that came down from the tin ceiling that was up here in this room. So that's all going to go out. Some new furring channels got to come in. So what we'll be doing is replacing the furring channel with this stuff here. From memory, it's 48mm deep. And we've got these isolation clips by a company called Rondo. So they're going to go on the bottom of the ceiling joists and provide isolation between the plaster that's going to go mounted up underneath and the floor above. So that'll do two things. It'll stop transfer of sound, vibration up into the house, but it'll also dampen footsteps and things going on above there. So I have actually built the control room, which I'll show you in a minute. It's framed out and plastered. I've just started putting the floor down. Behind me here, all the tin sheets have been taken down. I'll put some blue strapping up underneath to hold the insulation in that's there. I've gutted all the wiring that was in here for power and lighting, and I've reran what I need out here to suit the new lighting arrangement. Might be a bit hard to see from there, but we've got a couple of new lights up on the wall, and I've taken down all the brass light fittings that were around the room. And then you're going to have another two on the wall here, another two just out of camera there. So the other thing I did was I went between all the joists here using the 16mm plaster that we had for the control room. I've cut sheets, individual sheets, and filled the slot between the joists and caulked them with fire-rated caulk. Now the idea of that was the brick vents were partially exposed. Even though we're going to have 2 layers of fire check going underneath and it'll be sealed up to that brick wall, I thought, look, it's not going to hurt to have an extra layer there and seal off those cavities. As far as ventilation for the brick vents, that still allows ventilation behind that cavity up through between the bricks and the plaster on the first floor and around to all the other vents. So no problems there. So that panel up on the wall there that was the access panel to go outside has also been filled in. That was the weakest link in this room, being just a sheet of 16mm plywood which led straight out to the driveway. So we've got a double brick foundation wall along that side there. To maintain the STC rating of that wall, we needed to put something in there which would be roughly the same mass as what the bricks would be if it was filled back in with bricks. And I didn't want to do that because it provides a really good spot to get things in and out. So what I've done is I've built up a really thick panel. We've got 16mm black formwork, which you can see up there behind me, behind that insulation bat that's hanging down. Another layer of 16mm fire check. Then I built a frame out of, it's probably 35mm timber. And then on the other side, we've got the same thing again, and it's filled with insulation. So it's pretty thick, it's pretty heavy. Let's take a look around the other side. But looking back, you can see the wall there for our beautiful control room. 45 by 90 frames, 100mm gap between the two walls, and that's filled with sound check insulation. Density of the insulation was 24 kilos per square, if I remember correctly. Also, you can see up here, we've built a bulkhead out, so that's on the furring channel as well. 2 layers of 16mm fire check again. So this is a little hallway section, which leads down to the workshop at the back. This section of the corridor here is going to have a door on it. Then we've got another door going into the workshop there, and that's going to act as an isolation boost along with the workshop. Got tie lines, you can see down the bottom there, running into both rooms. They've got MDF boxes that are sealed up on the back so that sound can't travel through that penetration and straight into the open frame. You might remember this back corner here is where the sump actually is. So that's all going to get covered in and sealed up. This is what we've done with the power outlets. Some of them are built out of MDF. This one here, I've just used a solid mounting block from Bunnings, which is our hardware store here, and sealed it up nice and thick with fire-rated caulk, and the same in the back there. There's our return air vent. There's the underside of the box that I mentioned. It's been all caulked up. So it's not actually touching the plaster at all. It's suspended. It's also on isolation clips. And then we've got the fire-rated caulk around here to act as an expansion joint and to stop any direct contact between the plaster and the box. A lot of things that you don't see, like the way this cabling's been done. So This cable actually comes out over here, and it's been channeled in the first sheet of plaster, and then the next penetration's here. That way we don't have two holes going through both sheets of plaster in line with each other. So it's just another little thing to help with the sound isolation. Okay, so this is the workshop area at the end of the corridor. It's currently acting as a bit of a storage room. These are some polyester acoustic panels, which are 90mm thick. We've got some templates for some bass traps to go in the corners of the control room. They're just rough frames at the moment. The little act as templates. We'll probably rebuild them. And then up top here, we've got the HRV heating recovery ventilation unit, which is bringing fresh air into the whole basement. So on the left hand side there, we're bringing fresh air in from the house, actually from one of the wardrobes upstairs. So we get conditioned air from upstairs rather than bringing in hot air from outside or cold air from outside. And then that's the exhaust pipe there, which actually runs to the crawl space under the house, which has brick vents in it, so that can ventilate out through that way. There's our main distribution board for down here. We've got a 32 amp mains coming in, and then we've got separate circuits for the tracking room, the workshop, and also the control room. And within that we've got a few separate circuits as well. Here's our controller. All this comes back across through this wall, which isn't finished yet. We've run a catenary wire right down the length of this corridor in the bulkhead, and that picks up all the light and power cables. And then we've run a second catenary wire which picks up all the data as well as HDMI, so that we can have monitors down here and see what's going on upstairs, out in the driveway, front door, all that sort of stuff. Okay, let's have a look at the control room. This is my favourite bit at the moment because it's starting to look like a room. The plan is to get this actually finished off, get the doors and windows in, and then I can start bringing some gear down here and free up some room upstairs. And this is what we have so far.